ready for round 35, where we're going to connect the white yarn and add some new overlay stitches to work off of later. What I mean by that is you'll remember these overlay stitches I said will continue to a point so that we'll have these triangles all over the circle. What we're going to do now is put in a couple of new overlay stitches, not really connecting with these but joining in underneath them, and have them come up out of it so that we can play with those in the future rounds. So, white yarn, go ahead, find an increase from the last round, and we're going to join in the first stitch in that increase. Remember, back loop only. We need those front loops for future rounds. And we want to join with a chain that counts as our first single crochet. So to get over here to where we're adding these new stitches, we're going to need 16 single crochet. So that chain is 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So here we are. Next stitch is going to be a double treble, and we're going to come in to these pink single crochet, those front loops. We want one that's underneath this white front post stitch. So if you kind of pull it out of the way and find one of them underneath there, that's what we're actually going to hook into. So it doesn't really matter which one you pick, just so long as it's underneath this white one. So you don't want it so far that you're like trying to dig way back here somewhere, but you just want one, just the first one you think is covered up by these stitches. So, like I said, double treble means you yarn over 3 times. We're going to come back and find the closest pink stitch we can that looks like it's covered up by those. Now finish your double treble. Make sure it's fairly loose because you don't want to pull that stitch out from underneath these front posts. You want it to hide where we're joining. So don't do it so tight that it pulls it really hard. We're going to skip 1 and 3 single crochet will get us ready for our next overlay stitch. We're going to do the same thing over to this side. So we're going to yarn over 3 times, move these guys out of the way, and pick one of these coral front loops so that we can connect up and hide where we're connecting the yarn. This one in particular, because it's a little farther than the other one, you want to make sure you do it really loose to have a lot of space. If you're finding that it's still really tight and it's pulling this pink coral stitch way out and you can still see it, I do it as a double treble, meaning I yarn over 3 times, but there's nothing that says you can't yarn over a 4th time just to have a little extra space in the stitch. So you do what you need to have it be comfortable and not have it pull out ugly. So I'm going to try it with 3 here. Yarn over 3 times, move the white out of the way so I can pick a stitch underneath it, connect up to that front loop, and now do the rest of my stitch, giving myself lots of slack here. so that in the end it lies nice and flat. To finish up this repeat, we're going to skip that stitch, that's our front post instead, and we're going to do 9 more single crochet and an increase. So 9 more single crochet, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the last thing we want is an increase. Once we get our increase in, you will notice that I am ready to start the next repeat on the first stitch of an increase. So this is what we're going to end up with. We're going to start these two, and just like these are connecting to a point, these are going to connect, only they're actually going to cross each other and form an oval up here. So we're introducing these new overlay stitches by first starting in the first stitch of an increase. 16 single crochet get us over to here. We do a double treble, yarn over 3 times, and connect up to the front loop of one of the coral stitches that's underneath the front post stitches. So just push them out of your way, connect it up, finish the stitch, and when you're done you can sort of squish everything flat again so that it covers it up nicely, and it looks like this white's actually coming out of here. So again, our double treble, skip a stitch, 3 single crochet, repeat it on the other side, double treble, or if you need to, instead of 3 yarn overs, 4 to give you some extra yarn if you need. Come in here, connect up to one of the pink coral stitches underneath these overlays, skip the stitch, 9 more single crochet followed by an increase will finish out the repeat. So that's what you need: 16, 3, 9, increase with our 2 overlay stitches in the middle there. Alright, round 36. We're going to connect the blue yarn, the dark blue yarn again, and we're going to continue the middle of these front post stitches, continue these blue up, and then we'll do the white around it so that we can eventually get these to come to a point. So we're going to join in a slightly random place again. It doesn't happen often, but it does occasionally. If you find an increase from the last round, we want to join in the 4th stitch after this increase. So here's the increase, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to join in that 4th one after it. So let me grab my yarn again. Let me just make sure. Here's my increase, 1, 2, 3, 4th stitch after the increase, join with a chain. That's going to count as our first single crochet from this set of 5. We want 5 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to connect a front post double treble, so yarn over 3 times to this one here in the middle of these front posts. So 3 times yarning over. I'm going to come in, go around this blue one here so we can connect them up and finish the stitch. Just like that. My yarn keeps bunching up here, sorry. So there's our front post. We're going to skip the stitch in the back because this is going to count as it instead. And we want 14 single crochet. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. We're not yet ready to connect this piece up. What we're going to need right here is our increase for this round. So we're going to throw 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Then, to get over here so we can do this next front post stitch, we need 8 more single crochet. And actually, if you look here, those last 2 stitches I did are in the increase, so that'll help you spot that you've gotten to the right place. So yarn over 3 times for a front post double treble, go around the blue one and finish the stitch. Since we did an increase over here, we're going to continue to skip this stitch. 2 more single crochet. Bring us to the end of the repeat. So this is what we end up with. We're connecting or continuing these blue farther up, getting them closer together so that they'll join into a point eventually. Next up we'll do the white and continue that there. But for this blue round, for round 36, join in the 4th stitch before, or sorry, after, I should say, this increase. So here's the increase, 1, 2, 3, 4th one right there. Connect with a chain and do 5 single crochet. That'll get you here. Front post double treble into the blue, skip a stitch, 14 single crochet will get you to the increase. Do the increase, 8 more will get you to the other side. Connect up with a front post double treble, skip a stitch, and 2 more. So that count again, because this one goes for a while. We have 5 front post, 14 increase, 8 front post, 2. And if you recall, these 8 after the increase, when you do these 8, you'll finish that last stitch in the last stitch of the increase here. So that'll help you spot that you're doing the right thing. So that is the repeat: 5, 14, increase, 8, 2, with our 2 front post double trebles. Okay, round 37, we're going to go back to the white, and we're actually going to extend these guys up so that we keep enclosing these blue front posts, and we're going to connect these 2 new ones that we started a round ago. We're going to connect them together into a point. Like I said, they'll actually continue past then into an oval, but for right now we're just gonna connect them up. So to start, you want to find one of the increases, which is inside this section right here. Here's my increase, and you want to join in the 2nd stitch of the increase. That chain will count as our 1st stitch, and we're going to have a lot of front post stitches in here, so just sort of short breaks between front posts. We're going to have 8 single crochet to start. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You'll notice what I did was come right up so that there's a stitch before the blue one. That stitch before is going to be the white front post we're putting in right now. So 3 times, yarn over, go around the white front post to connect them up, finish the stitch. Move this over here, sorry I kept hitting it. We're going to skip 1, stitch 1 in the front post there. Now for the stitch after it, we're going to connect up to this other side for the white. Yarn over 3 times, front post double treble, going around the white front post from before, and connect it up like that. So we're enclosing that blue front post from the last round. We're going to skip 1 and single crochet 5. This is 4 and 5. And if you notice again, all we're doing, if you want a landmark instead of just a count, we are working over until we get to the stitch before the front post. So the stitch before the front post is going to be the white front post now. So yarn over 3 times, grab that white front post, and finish the stitch. We're going to skip this blue stitch because that's the white front post. Stitch 1, a single crochet here. The tail out of the way. And now for the other side of the front post, we're going to yarn over 3 times and go around this white one, connect them up. Now for this one, we're not going to skip anything. This is going to be our hidden increase again. So we're not skipping anything, and we're going to do 10 single crochet. That's to get into the middle here so that we can connect these guys up. So this is 1. So again, don't skip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'm set to connect these two together. So to do that, we're going to do a front post treble 2 together. So treble means yarning over only twice because we're a lot closer. We don't need that 3rd yarn over. We're going to start by grabbing this one, and we're going to go through the first 2 parts of the stitch, but stop with these 2 loops still left on. Now we're going to yarn over 2 more times and come to this one. So remember, this is a treble 2 together. Do the first 2 parts of that stitch, stop. Now yarn over and pull through all 3. You notice that connects these 2 together into a single stitch. We're going to skip this one here, and 4 single crochet should bring us back to the increase where we started the repeat before. So that's 2, 3, and my 4th one is going into the first stitch of the increase, which is what we want because we joined in the 2nd stitch of the increase. So that's the repeat here. in terms of, you know, going mostly off of landmarks, I'll do the counts in a second. You're going to join in the second stitch of the increase. You're going to do single crochet until you have one left before the front post, and then do your white front post. Skip a stitch, single crochet, another front post here, skip a stitch. 5 will get you over. Again, you're just going to continue over until you have one left before the front post. Do the white front post, skip 1, single crochet, another front post here. You're not going to skip, and then it's going to take you 10 to get over to the middle. So for the count, again, start in the second stitch of an increase, 8 single crochet, front post, skip 1, single crochet, front post, skip 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet, front post, skip 1, single crochet, front post, don't skip, that one's our increase. 10 single crochet, bring you to the front post, treble 2 together, so you only need to yarn over twice for these ones. These yarn over 3 times, just grabbing everything. These yarn over twice, skip 1, 4 single crochet to finish. So that's the repeat. It is a little complicated, as I said, as we continue on. Since each round is longer, they tend to get more complicated every single time. But that is the repeat, 8 times a round, and we get to move on to the next one.